Good morning, everyone. We are here live at the Baguio City Public Library for another episode of Lib Talk. I am Katso Loan Kanutab, your host for today's morning show. With me are my guests. They are young adults because we recognize the innovations and the contributions that the youth can provide for us. Okay, so we have here on my left Miss Eileen Bagyan, and we have Bernard Yoligaw. They are both from the University of Baguio. They are part of our library operations for now because they are our interns. So Bernard and Eileen, why don't you introduce yourselves? Say hi to the readers and viewers.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eileen, and I am a fourth year BA English student at the University of Baguio.
Hi everyone, I am Bernard. I am also a fourth year student and a BA English major at the University of Baguio.
Okay, so both of them, actually I have reviewed the resume and I found one thing that we have in common. So both of you actually have enrolled in medical courses before taking up AD English.
Yes.
So Bernard is BA Psych,
Yes, sir.
BS Psych, and then Eileen, she took up,
BS MLS.
so can you,
MedTech.
MedTech, okay. So MedTech and psychology. For me, I have actually enrolled in the College of Nursing before I took up Library and Information Science. So you got that right. Before becoming a librarian, there is also a course. So that's Library and Information Science. And we also have a board exam. So not many know that. So that's trivia for today. Okay. I have a quote here from Steve Jobs. He said, "I always advise people, don't wait. Do something when you are young, when you have nothing to lose, and keep that in mind." So what's your take on this?
Well, for me, I think, since we are young, we have many doors open to us, and I think
You have nothing to lose. So keep
Yeah.
that in mind always.
we have nothing to lose. So as early as now, I think it would be nice if we just keep moving forward and not fright and not be in fear of what's in store in the future.
Yes, I believe you have proved that when you find out maybe that medtech was not for you, you kept moving forward and you found your niche in AD English. Actually, I have also thought of before of enrolling in AD English or mass communications, but I ended up here in library and information science, and I think I don't have regrets. As for now, I can still practice writing and still read a lot and practice my profession. So for Bernard, what's your take on what Steve Jobs said?
For me, ma'am, it would be.
I think you could.
For me, ma'am, it would be that Eileen was right. We really should take every opportunity to find ourselves while we are still in our prime. Because as time goes by, eventually our opportunities slip past us, and we become. I don't know if it's okay to say.
Just say it. It's okay
Once
to
we grow
say it.
older, I'm very sorry for any of my friends who are watching. Once we grow older, we tend to end up having things that we regret not doing, and it could actually impact us in the future. So it's vital for us to grab every opportunity we have while we still can.
Okay. Well said. So for the youth who are watching, go for it. Just go for it. Just like what Nike said, just do it. But of course, hindi lang yung tawag dito, banat lang ng banat. You also have to think, but just do it. Okay? One interesting about Bernard is that you came from Qatar. Can you tell us how life is there?
Ma'am, it's very modern, very advanced. Because Qatar is It's a very small country. If you look at it in the world map, it's this small, but it's actually one of the richest countries in the world. So a lot of it is very advanced, very up to date with technology and buildings. But at the same time, they also never forget their roots, just like Baguio City. They a lot of their buildings do have the cultural aesthetic to them. You would actually be able to tell that they keep both one foot in the past and the other one in the present, while also striving towards the future.
Okay. Yes, that's also what we are trying to do here in Baguio, keeping our roots while moving forward. And for Eileen, I found out that you won overall in the University of High School Quiz B during the Math Festival 2016. So how was your experience?
It's a math festival, but I'm actually really terrible with math. And thankfully, the quiz bee was about general knowledge. That's why it wasn't centered only in math, and it included knowledge about fiction, politics, and yeah, in literature. That's why I think I was able to, yes, win.
To win it. For the preparation, did you read a lot? Or
No.
it was just acquired knowledge?
Yes, because they didn't tell us anything about the contents of the crispy, but I thought that it's just for like additional. It's like not really a requirement, but additional.
It's a co-curricular.
Yeah, it's a curricular activity. That's why I just participated in it, and then yeah, thankfully I won it.
Congratulations, even if it's late, still congratulations. And you actually, even if you say that you did not read before the quiz, I believe that the acquired knowledge you have had from continuous reading that had impacted your one. Okay, so before we go any further, I'm curious why you considered having your intern here at the Baguio City Public Library. You may go first, or you? Bernard.
For me, I chose the public library because I saw it as an ideal work environment. It's mostly quiet, so it's easy for people to focus, and people can take the opportunity to relax while also working at the same time. And since I was a child, I used to actually just enjoy being around the library. I don't necessarily have to read, but I enjoy being surrounded by the calmness and the peace and quiet of it.
Okay. Yes. Other people, or mostly people, would actually think of libraries as just places of books where you will read. But it's actually not. You know, libraries are changing, times are changing, your needs are changing. And we embrace those trends. That's why right now, we do not actually provide the library as just a place to read books. We provide the library as a place to do your own thing, anything. Even if you do not come here to just read books, you can use our computers, you can use our seating areas just to sit, relax, even without reading books. So you see, the public library is actually a space for all. It's a place for all. It doesn't have a requirement. Even if you do not have an education background, you do not have money, your views are different from our views, it doesn't matter. All are welcome here at the Baguio City Public Library or any public library. That's one of our ethos actually, that is to welcome everyone. So I believe that when you have entered here, you realize that also. How about Eileen? What made you think of coming here?
Actually, in the future, I'd like to work with books, and I thought that the public library was the perfect place for that. And now I think, yeah, it's not actually just about books, but the public library offers a lot of things. That's why I'm also being open to other different areas other than just books. And yeah, I like it.
Thank you. So, I hope we are making an impact in everyone's lives day to day. So, even if it's just small, I believe over time it will accumulate and grow into something big. And before coming here or in your younger years, what were your thoughts of a library? For Bernard, you always went to your library. So maybe your views on libraries started when you were young. So what can you say with those experiences?
The library is it's a place where actually to be honest, I also did just think back then that it was just a place where I could read, and I did read a lot when I was a child, so I didn't really have any larger perspectives other than it was quiet and it was some place where I could have so many books to choose from. But as I grew older, I also realized that the library is a place for providing information, and if people look past the general definition of the library, they would be able to see that it could actually help them out in much bigger ways.
Yes, well said. How about Eileen?
Well, for me as a child, I usually just visit the library to sleep because the libraries usually have very comfortable sofas.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back now, I don't think I made use of the library to its full extent
Mm-hmm.
because it actually really has a lot to offer. Yeah, other than just books.
Yeah, it's okay because when you are young, you just fulfill what you need. So maybe for you just needed to rest. But actually, in academic libraries right now, just for example, Benguet State University and the University of the Philippines, Baguio, in their libraries, they designate a space for napping. So for Benguet State University, they have mats and then bean bags. So I've actually used that napping space quite a few times also because doing graduate studies is tiring. So when you need to rest a bit, that's a very good space to do your napping thing. And also for University of the Philippines, Baguio, I've seen their place, but I haven't actually tried it in Apple because I study at Benguet State University. Okay. When you came here, what was the biggest thing that changed your view on public libraries? For example, for me, before I took up the course library science, I thought that I didn't actually have any idea what other things libraries could offer. It was just when we studied the theories, when we studied the practices of other libraries, that I came to know that libraries could really offer that much. And I think it's the same for other people. So we make it a point right now to promote the use of libraries, promote reading, and make use of every positive aspect that we could offer. So you can say anything. We do not expect you to have experienced that much of a library. So go ahead, just say.
Well, for me, actually the last time I visited the library, the public library, was around 10 years ago when I was in high school.
Mhm.
I mean, high school or elementary, and during that time, I don't remember much about it, but I just remember the books.
Mm-hmm. The second floor.
Yeah, the second floor. And then when I came here earlier this month, I it was just, yeah, I was surprised because the library now is it's very modern compared to what it was before. And yeah, I thought that, so yeah, I think even the library is moving forward with the world.
Yes, of course. We have to. We get that comment a lot actually, that the library is modernizing, it's digitizing, and that's true. Because how can we embrace every citizen's need when we do not embrace the changing times? How about Bernard?
Ma'am, I also have the same perspective as Aileen, because when I officially came to the library, it was when we were looking at, we went to Baguio City for vacation.
Oh, okay.
And then when I came back recently to work here, I noticed how much it changed, because it seemed a lot smaller back then, but now suddenly we have couches, we have a room for the internet. It fits today's day and age perfectly.
Yes, because before they have this two-floor library only. And then recently they added this section, the thesis and dissertation, up to the third floor for the law section. So it really did change a lot. But of course, we are still aiming for more. We still aim for this library to grow larger, to accommodate more space. Because right now, a lot of requests is to provide a space for discussion room, viewing rooms for audiovisual, and sadly right now, we really cannot yet. But we remind you to please support us so that we can do those. With your help, we can do those, because it's really actually difficult to lobby for things that, especially right now, budget is tight. So please help us, please support us when we promote the Baguio City Public Library. Embrace those innovations and programs and promotions that we provide. Okay? What can you say about the things that we let you do here? Because we actually let them write articles, and they are very good at that. You can view those in our website, library.baguio.gov.ph. And for Eileen, when I asked you to write something about the family search, did you expect that I would give you that kind of activity?
Actually, no, because at first I wasn't aware of the family search program.
Okay.
But through the task, I think I was able to learn more about it and was able to write about it. And I think it's a fun thing. It's an interesting program for people who want to go back to their ancestors, who want to know more about their ancestors. And yes.
Okay, thank you. I hope you found that meaningful. For those who did not know about Family Search, that's actually a program for genealogy. So you can create your family trees, discover your roots and ancestors through the Family Search site and app. And you can do that here at the Baguio City Public Library. For Bernard, we asked you to write something about the internet section. So many do not know that they can actually use the library for internet use, computer use, and printing for free. So were you surprised that we provide those services?
To be honest, ma'am, I was not
Okay.
surprised. I guess you could say that it came naturally, providing information and communication technology as part of the library's mission to provide information, and computers serve as an extension of that by giving them access to the internet.
Okay, so thank you. Thankfully, you were not. Because when I read posts about libraries, when I read the comments, a lot of it says that the library is a thing of the past, the library is already obsolete, why not provide Wi-Fi use, information is already found on Google, those sorts of things. They do not actually know that we already provide those services. That's why we are creating an information center. And Wi-Fi, computer use, those are all part of it. And especially for the Philippines, which is a third world country, how can you expect every people or every household to have those amenities? And a very good place to have that is a public library for free. For others who can spend, they can have it in their homes. They can go to coffee shops, they can go to restaurants. But as I have said, we embrace everyone. And we take care of those who do not have the accessibility of those things. Because one major problem of the world today is digital divide. What's digital divide? That's having and not having access to those resources. So that's also one of our aim, to bridge digital divide. So please do not view the public library as just an obsolete thing. We are doing what we can to, as I have repeatedly said, embrace the changing times, and technology is one of that. We have also our staff who are continuously improving to be better in terms of information technology. Like for example, our website, we are actually the ones who's maintaining that. But of course, for the programming and for the coding, we coordinate that with our management and information technology division. So we do not just sit here inside the library, in the four corners of this library. We do a lot of collaborations, we do a lot of partnerships, just like the family search and the provision of those digital hub. That's actually a result of partnership with the ICT and Front Row. So how do we do those if we do not get out of the four walls of this library? So again, that's one misconception, that we just sit and magpupunas ng libro, mag-aabot ng libro. So did you have those, honestly, did you have those stereotype views before?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, I thought of librarians as just people who organize books according to their genres, to their numbers. But but working here now, I don't think, I don't think that's all they do. They do a lot of work actually, and they don't work with just books. They expand their expertise.
Yes, that's why we are doing continuous studies, learning things that was actually not part originally of our job description, because we really have to. We have to continuously learn. Bernard? It's okay.
I think I may have become more familiar with it during high school when we had a class where we get to decide, we finally get to learn about the possible careers we could have taken. And out of curiosity, I've looked at what being a librarian is all about. And I viewed Eileen, I used to have that impression too. But then they described things such as having databases to keep track of all the books,
Yes.
taking stock, and I understood how difficult handling computers can be, and that there's more than one kind of librarian. If there are librarians who work in museums, there are ones who work in there are ones who are very international, and I realized there's a way bigger picture, and it's more difficult in comparison to how many people usually see it.
You actually have a wider view about librarians and librarianship than me when I was young. Because when I was in high school, I actually had a very bad experience in a library. Because me and my friends, we went there to borrow a newspaper. And it was very difficult to borrow that newspaper. Imagine, just a newspaper, and the librarian would put you in that kind of process just to give you a newspaper. And in the end, we didn't get that newspaper. So maybe that's also part of my experience, to negate those kinds of library service, because it's very bad. Thankfully for me, I was not discouraged to read. I was just discouraged going to the library. But look where I am now. But maybe that made me a more empathetic, a more sympathetic kind of public service provider. So, let's see. Were you actually aware earlier this September there was a report about former Senator Recto and now the Batangas City, Batangas representative, who is a congressman, and that sparked a lot of comments because who would actually have thought that there was a moratorium or there was a stop on funding building libraries. So there was actually it was purposely done to stop building libraries. Yes, and it sparked so many comments, both positive and negative. Some were really surprised, oh my gosh, oh talaga? There was actually a moratorium. I didn't know that actually. And I was so surprised because why would you stop building libraries when libraries are partners of schools in educating the young ones, the children, up to old age? Why would you stop building those? And as a conclusion, he said that we should begin building libraries again. Yeah. And our budget for education has been cut. So he was actually asking for that budget to be increased. So what can you say about that? That in our country, when our reading literacy is so low, they are actually putting a stop to building libraries. First up, maybe. Heidi, go ahead.
Okay, so actually I also wasn't aware, and yeah, it's actually a surprise to know that. And as you mentioned a while ago, ma'am, that we are a third world country, and I think the only way to stop, I mean not really stop, but to move to a higher level is for more of us being educated. And I think a library is, it's a partner of education. And if we stop building public libraries, I don't think it would. It's like it's discouraging people to be more educated. It's discouraging us to move forward, and yeah. Yeah.
No, the surprise is really there. How about you, Bernard?
For me, ma'am, I would say that if libraries are ceased, operations for the library are ceased, it would things would remain the same. Nothing would we would not be able to push ourselves to improve if everything is all of this, the resources, if they're all put to waste, it's not okay also. Because I guess it could also we could also put the reasoning on how everything now is digitized and excuse me, and modernized. But the library could also provide backup in case anything could happen, because everything has drawbacks, including technology.
Yeah.
So if there comes a time where we don't have access to internet or to technology, we could use the library to find what, as it is complete and it does not have the drawbacks that machines have.
Yes, mentioning that, we also have ebooks and online resources. You can access those in our website for free. So just explore and scroll through those resources that we have put in there. Yes, technology really has drawbacks. What if the internet was cut, the computers suddenly bogged down? What's your backup? It's the print. So it goes vice versa. So for example, when we have a flood, pero wag naman sana. Or just in case, or we're building this damage and it is inaccessible, what's our backup for that? It's our online resources. It's our digital resources. So you see, the library really finds ways to fit the needs. And speaking of those needs, do you think information is a necessity? Do you think feeding on information is a necessity?
Yeah, it's definitely a necessity because, as we previously mentioned, the world is always moving forward. It's not going backwards. It's always moving forward. And feeding on information helps us to move forward with the world. And it actually also gives us access to, it's like, it gives us access to what may happen in the future also. So yeah, information is definitely a necessity.
But
I agree with Aileen because whenever we look at information, not only do we just read it as it is, we also use it to evaluate certain situations and see what is our best plan to execute things for future events. So, and our entire society also relies on information in order to make progress. So, I would completely agree that it is very important.
okay, you heard that information is essential. Just like Lugo is essential, information is essential. You know what? Actually, there was this one thing when I was watching a news, and that's about Myanmar no, it's a Malaysia, and they were commenting on the Filipino workforce that is there. The leader commented that Filipino workers could go to higher level jobs if they had no, not the Filipino ones, the other nationality, because they were comparing Filipinos and that other nationality. And the Filipinos were those on the higher level jobs, and somewhat there was a comparison because why Filipinos get those jobs? And the comment is because the Filipinos were better educated. So that's really the value of information. It gets you to higher places. And I think for students, numerous studies actually have found out that those who have better access to reading materials, better access to public libraries, or if not better access to public libraries, they have books at home. And it shows that they fare better in examinations, they fare better at opportunities. So do you agree that reading and information, having, digesting information would get you far?
Yes, we would agree that is true because reading is it's something that a lot of people would usually be encouraged to do. And even speaking from personal experience, my parents would tell me that I need to read a lot. A lot of members of my family do it, so we share that love of reading, and it has its benefits and enables us to indirectly learn a few things, and we could actually use it if properly acknowledged. We could use it to better ourselves, and then by extension our surroundings.
Yes, so it's parenting is also a very it's a big influence when raising readers to read. But for us, the statistics that of course a lot of parents do not have good education. That's where we come in again. The children's librarians, they help. We have a very good children's librarian here. She's very good in storytelling, so we invite you to make use of our children's section. So,
For me, I'm actually a very lazy reader. I love books and I love reading, but yeah, sometimes I'm really lazy. And one thing that encouraged me to read more is when I listen to my sisters love reading, and they read a lot of things. And when they at the dining table, when we all meet, they would talk about various topics like politics, especially politics. Actually, they talk about politics a lot, and then listening to those conversations, I realized how I was short of information. Like I wasn't aware of what was actually happening around me and what's happening in the world. That's why I think they were also a big influence to me, and it pushes me to know more about what's happening, what's actually happening.
We now have another thing in common because the first person who taught me to read was my sister. Yes. So before I formally went to school, I already knew at home. Okay, so you know that reading has really very big impact on your life, and it's just sad that right now, mostly or no, I don't have the data to say mostly, or many of the youth really view reading as boring. But I'm happy that here, through the Book Lovers Club, I see the young people who continuously come and borrow their books. And some readers actually borrow 3 books and they will finish that in just more than a week. So they are fast readers. I'm not that fast. Maybe I can just read one novel. 2 weeks sabihin mo na. But of course, our lifestyles are different. Others could just concentrate on that. That's just what they will do in a day. But of course, we understand that other people are busy. That also explains that when you become an adult or when you get busy with school, your reading time for pleasure really decreases. But what's important is that you keep reading and you keep learning something new every book that you read. You really learn from that. But of course, it's not just books. Yung mga, when you scroll on social media, there are actually many credible sources also that you can find in there. Like for example, we have a Facebook page, and sometimes we inject resources there that you can use for reliable information sources. There. For me, my favorite book is historical fiction. Because I learned history through historical fiction. I find it as a fun way to learn history by not memorizing dates. Because I can relate better with history if I read it through a story. Just like for the K-drama fans here, diba, there are so many Korean dramas that are historical. And that's one way of learning their history through those dramas. And I also enjoy those. For example, there's Jumong. And I have learned the history how Jumong built North Korea, but sadly right now they are having difficulties with their peace with South Korea. And what else? History of Britain, history of the Philippines. There are many historical fictions where you can learn the culture and history of other people, and that makes you have a better viewpoint of those places and the way they do their lives and the way they have affected us. So how about you? What books do you read? What's your favorite book at that?
Oh, for me, I like fantasy and also a bit of horror.
Oh, wow, nice. For horror, why do you like horror?
Because I think for me it feels like a symbol of character development. Because when I was a child, I get scared very easily. Whenever I used to go, back then National Bookstore used to be really big. It's full of books. Unlike today, because it's just maybe like 1/3 is just books and the rest is school supplies. But back then, it used to be full of books, and every single time I'm by the kids section, right next to it is the horror section, and I couldn't enjoy it because I have to keep looking at all the covers look very scary, and I I couldn't I couldn't I couldn't enjoy reading properly. There was even a time where I was standing right next to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it turns out we were past closing time, and then all the lights turned off
Oh.
inside. And me and my mom almost got locked inside, but eventually as I grew older, I just took the career. I realized I was reading Greek myths back then, and they all had monsters in it. You know, yung Medusa, the Cyclops. I realized, how is this any different? So out of curiosity, I just picked up a book, and I realized it wasn't so scary. Especially when I read the Goosebumps series, all the
Mhm.
covers were scary, but when I looked at it, it's not actually that scary to begin with. It's actually also very enjoyable. So as I grew older, eventually I became a lot braver than I used to be, and then so horror did hold a special place in my heart afterwards.
Wow. It could actually translate to facing your fears.
Oh,
That's a very interesting retelling of the impact of one genre of a book to how you develop. I haven't actually tried reading horror. That's one thing I realize right now. But there are kids here who really would just grab the horror ones, Goosebumps, and yung mga shivery tales. How about you, Eileen?
I mostly like fiction, and yeah, I also read some historical fiction because yes, as you mentioned, Mom, it's actually nice. It's actually a fun way of learning about history through stories.
Yes.
And one thing I also like for example, like about fiction is that, I mean, reading books in general is that it takes you places. One particular author
Mm-hmm.
that I personally love is, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, Eva Ibbotson or Ibbotson.
Oh, haven't encountered that.
But I
it's
think
good
she's
to
British.
pronounce.
I think she's British, and I read two of her bestseller books.
Mm-hmm.
One is The Star of Kazan, and the other is The Journey to the River Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And Star of Kazan is, it took me to Austria.
Wow.
And reading that, it's like it brought me to Austria. I think Austria is a really beautiful country,
Mm-hmm.
and reading that made me, it was set in the past, so it also gave me like a vision of their past
Okay.
in Austria. And the other one is the journey to the River Sea.
Oh, okay.
Is the River Sea. Yes, it took me to the Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
There's this the heroine is Maya, and
Oh.
she I think she was an orphan who was suddenly called by her distant relative to the Amazon, and there she was able to explore the Amazon through a little boy who also lived there.
Oh.
And yeah, it was a fun adventure.
Oh, those stories are interesting. I haven't read a story that is set in Austria or Amazon. But that reminds me of a book that I've read. It's set in a state of United States. I do not remember what exact state is that. But I learned that part of their culture is the same with us. So for example, they actually have blood sausage. So when they butcher a pig, they actually reserve also the intestines and then the blood. I did not know that they also do that. Because diba with us, I do not know if you have tasted that also already.
I think I think I have. I think because when kapag naluluto ko kasi dinugan yung mom ko dun sa Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
Yung dugo po ng baboy, it wasn't that. It's not as accessible here. So
Oh.
ang ginagawa niya was she takes the blood sausage and she opens it, and then that's what she uses.
Oh, okay. So you see, you really learn about other culture You get to understand them and you remove the stereotypes. Because yung stereotype ko noon is the Americans would not eat those internal organs. But they do actually. And part of Europe, they also share yung pag-preserve ng meat. They hang the meat, they salt. That's just the same with us. So it's parang the effect of colonial mentality kasi is that they are superior, mga ganong bagay. But if you tend to know more about them, yung mga stereotypes mo is magdi-diminish yan. So that's really one of the importance of reading. Your viewpoints will become wider. I have here quotes from the famous people, most famous, let's say. And these people are very good innovators. They really changed how we do things today. Like for example, Jeff Bezos, he's the founder of Amazon. He's also the founder of, the Kindle that we use for ebook reading. And one surprising thing that he said is this. He learns more from novels than nonfiction. Also, we share the same experience. That's Jeff Bezos. And I can see that I'm just an ordinary citizen, but we share the same thing when it comes to reading. There's actually one from Bill Gates. When he was asked what he'd tell a young person looking to make a positive impact on the world, he said, the ideal thing is to read a lot and hopefully find a skill you enjoy that can have an impact. These are already very successful people, but their advice is still to read a lot. There was also one speaker from TEDx. You know that show when speakers are invited to inspire the audience? And there was this speaker mentioning about reading a book. Even if you do not read the book from cover to cover, you can just read one chapter or one page that interests you. You can put that back in the shelf, and then later on, you can come back to that. So reading does not mean that you will read lengthy pages. Reading just a page does actually have an impact. Doesn't have to be lengthy. And another one, this is the creator of MacBooks. So Steve Jobs. When he was asked what school was for him, he said that there were only two things that he wanted to do in school. One was to read books because he loved reading books, and the other one was to go outside and chase butterflies. So you see, reading is really essential. And what's the best place to find reading materials, tons of reading materials without spending even a peso? It's libraries. Public libraries at that, because anyone could enter for free. Okay. So, another one from Rector. Let's make sure that our young people will fall in love with books. And building book depots and reading centers could be the start of their beautiful relationship with reading. If we want our kids to read, we should build libraries. So from all of those, from your experiences, from all these quotes that I have found, I hope that the audience had something from that. I hope that the audience changed their viewpoints, or if not changed, it elevated their support for libraries. So there would no one anymore saying that libraries are not essential anymore. Because how can we improve as a nation? We are a third world nation. How can we become a first world country if you are even dreaming of that? Or let's just say that, how can we just become better? It's improving our education and building more libraries. Because that's the place for access to information. Agree?
Agree.
Yeah, so the same with the audience. I hope the audience would also agree. Could you please give us a wrap-up on the importance of reading, of learning, on a young person's life? Just a general, something to inspire the other audience, especially the young people. to read and learn. And do not stop at that. Do something from those learnings so that they would use that to create a positive impact on this world.
Personally, I think reading has helped me a lot. Even if I'm not really a wide reader, but through the small things that I have read, I think I was able to pick up a lot of things already. And I mean, not really a lot of things, but yeah, I was able to be open to other things that were not just everyday life for me. And as early as now, actually, even if we're already at this age or older, starting reading is not that difficult. We can start by baby steps, just reading probably one page or one chapter a day, or even in newspapers, maybe we can just read the headlines. Actually, headlines also tells us a lot already. We read the headlines, and from those, that is actually reading, still reading, and it's feeding information to your brain. And we mentioned that the Philippines is a third world country, and technology has its drawbacks. So, personally, in my experience here in Baguio City, we always have brownout, blackout,
Yes.
and the public library actually it's open for that because our country cannot provide everyone with generators and stuff like other more higher countries. That's why I think the public library is a big help kung nagra-rush kayo ng research or thesis. The public library provides all that you need during those yung times of crisis.
Yeah. Thank you, Eileen. Actually, you know what? Yung recent brownout, the public library was really, really full because we came here to access the computers and access a place where there is light. It was brownout, Baguio and Benguet. How about Bernard?
For me, I would like to say that everyone should remember that books can be a great help to you. They can be your best friend if you, as long as you treat them properly and with respect. Treat them as if it's someone you love. Not that I'd be able to relate much, of course. I'm just kidding. But yes, books can provide you with many things that you would not be able to see, you would not be able to have access to, especially during, like what I said, during times of crisis with thesis and research. And I also agree with what, going back to what Jeff Bezos said, that you can learn from novels more than you can from nonfiction. It's true because sometimes whenever we read or watch or even watch something, for instance, our favorite manga series or comic books or movies, we tend to identify ourselves with the characters, which is why we like them so much. And sometimes when we like a character so much, we learn to identify ourselves or try to emulate them, directly or indirectly. Like for instance, growing up, I keep getting told about superheroes and what they do, about Superman, Spider-Man. Eventually, now with this generation, suddenly you can identify with any member of the Avengers. Not necessarily, we can emulate them to a certain extent because of course we cannot emulate everything. Like we don't have Tony Stark's suit, for instance, but we can aspire to hope to make the world a better place and to help and sometimes have fun and not take anything too seriously the way Tony Stark does, just to keep things lighthearted but also still moving forward.
Yes, it's very well said. We really have books. We really can consider books as our best friends, right? And thank you very much, Eileen and Bernard, for sharing all of those experiences, for sharing all of your viewpoints. And I hope we really did make an impact to the audience today about reading and literacy and libraries, of course. And right now, you may have noticed our set. It's not just book displays. We also have medals, and we also have gift boxes here. The others are there. There's a reason for this being here, because right now we are actually going to announce the winners for our video contest, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as part of our celebration of Baguio Day for September. So may I now turn over the set to Ma'am Esther Pablo to announce the winners. Thank you everyone. This has been Kasolowan once again. Kasolowan Kanuta, Bernard Yuligaw, and Eileen Bagyan for Live Talk. Bye!
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Okay, so ako naman. But then, let's have a round of applause sa ating mga guests for today. Wow! It has been a productive discussion. So we have learned a lot from them, and you know, hearing from them ano yung mga views nila, we can say na hindi naman at loss pa rin ang generation ngayon when it comes to using and utilizing the library, no? Especially here at the Baguio City Public Library. Okay, so anyhow, we just have to shout out kasi may mga nagpapa-shout out.
Oh, wow.
So, Villasis Municipal Library, hello! Sa aming mga kasamahan dyan sa Villasis Municipal Library. And of course, to Jackson Abion. And he wants to greet his wife, Melody Abion. It's their 6th anniversary daw. So, happy anniversary po and thank you for watching. And of course, ang UB Science High School Library, nagwa-watch din sila. So hello, ito, mga students from University of Baguio po yung ating mga guests ngayon. And we're glad to have them here. Okay, so, ito na po yung announcement natin. As mentioned a while back, we will now announce the winners of the video contest, Baguio Video Contest, with the theme, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so I guess there's always a good side when it comes sa ating city, ano? And of course, behind those good, of course, meron pa rin namang mga needs improvement. And I believe na ito na it's a way na to communicate with us kung ano yung nakikita ng ating mga people in the community, kung ano yung mga dapat i-improve pa dito sa ating city. And it was reflected in all the videos submitted, and we would like to congratulate all the participants. Thank you for participating to our contest, and of course, salamat at it's an eye-opener to all of us. To those who have watched the videos na sinubmit nila, it really helps us to reflect kung ano po talaga yung ma-contribute natin in order na itong mga bad and ugly will be turned into good. Tama po ba? Yes, tama po. But then of course, before going further, we have posted yung guidelines and mechanics of this contest. So I guess there's no question about that kasi nasunod naman po yung mga guidelines and mechanics. Okay? So for the judging, we have of course board of judges. The 90% will come from them and the 10% will come from Facebook reactions. Okay? So we would just like to clarify na yung 10%, ang number 1 po doon na nakalagay naman po doon sa taas po ng video, that you have to like and follow the page para po ma-count ang inyong mga reactions. Kapag hindi po kayo naka-like and follow, magre-reflect naman po doon. So we have printed kung sino yung mga nag-follow talaga doon sa mechanics. Okay? So, na-compute namin yung 90% and then the 10% equals to 100%. And we have come up with the winners, but of course, we would like to thank you to our Board of Judges, to Honorable Levy Lloyd B. Orcales. So, isa siya sa mga judges natin. And of course, to Councilor Leandro B. Yangot Jr. And of course, to Mr. Ferdinand Jan Balanag. So, sila po yung ating mga judges. Okay? So, they have submitted and we have come up with the result. Yehey! So, sino ang mga nandito? Sino mga contestants ang mga nandito? Okay, so ganito na lang. As I announce yung name, kung meron kayo dito, then I guess you have to come here so that we'll give you your certificate, your medal, and of course, yung simple token naman para sa inyo. And for the cash prize, it will be, you will be notified soon kasi alam nyo naman, we still have to process all the needed papers before the releasing of cash prizes at sa City Hall nyo na po kukunin. Hindi po dito sa City Library, kundi sa City Hall. Okay? So you just have to submit a valid ID. Of course, nandun sa guideline na talagang you have to be a resident of Baguio City. Okay? So yung ID po na isasubmit ninyo should be talagang tiga Baguio kayo. Okay. There is a special prize na wala sa guidelines, wala ito, no? But we have decided to give a special prize na People's Choice Award. I'm not sure if she is here. But doon sa posting kasi, meron yung engagement. Makikita namin as the admin of the page, nakikita ko yung highest engagement. So yun ang kinuha namin, yun ang basis for the People's Choice Award. So the People's Choice Award was able to garner 191 reactions, 49 comments, and 100 shares. So hindi ito yung kapag tinotal mo siya, hindi ito. But then that will make up yung engagement na report ng Facebook. And of course, naka 1,100 views na rin yung entry na yon. That's why we would like to call, kung nandito siya, si Miss Pamela May E. Suyom. Is she around?
Miss Suyom?
Miss Suyom, are you around? No. Wala. Okay, so congratulations. You are the People's Choice Award. Okay, so yan. Wala siya, but anyhow, it will be posted and they will be notified. We have 11 entries, no? Actually, more than yung nag-register, but then only 11 submitted. Actually, meron isang gustong humabol, but then according to guidelines, we have to follow the guidelines, kaya hindi na namin tinanggap. But then, sabi ko sa kanya, we can post your video after yung announcement ng winners. Hindi na siya included doon sa sa mga entries, no? So parang na lang, we just have to post yung ginawa niya para hindi naman sayang. Okay? So all of the 11 entries are actually winners. So congratulations po sa inyong lahat. Panalo po kayong lahat actually. We just have to determine kung sino ang first, second, third. Okay? So, in alphabetical order ha, hindi ko consolation prizes. Ito ang ating mga consolation prizes in alphabetical order. So, if you are here, please join, no? Join us here kung meron ka para mai-award na rin namin yung medal mo and itong certificate. Monica T. Balusdan. Miss Balusdan, are you here? Okay, Nan. Francis Vian Joseph C. Bordon.
Yan.
Yung medal niya. One medal and yung, ayan.
Isusuot na ito. Oh.
Suot mo naman para naman talagang winner siya, di ba? O. Ikaw na magsuot ko.
Ikaw na. First honor.
Okay. Ayan. And then, of course, yung token mo. Simple token lang naman. Okay. Ayan. So, thank you very much and congratulations. Actually, isa siya sa mga volunteers dito sa City Library. And nung nag-face-to-face classes na sila, of course, priority niya ngayon yung kanyang pag-aaral. So, we understand. But he was able to render more than 100 hours of volunteer work here at the City Library. So, thank you very much and congratulations. Okay. Tayo na lang ako. June B. Kaipas.
Yes.
Okay.
Alisin mo siguro yung Christmas para makita yung wako.
Yan po. Kayo na lang po magsuot ng medal. Ayan.
Lang po.
Thank you very much.
2, 3.
Okay, congratulations po. Congratulations. Next. Erin P. Dakanay. Wala si Erin? Erin Dakanay. Nan? Maria Ruena Ardador. Okay. Yan sila.
Pati yan naman.
Anak mo, halika na. Ay, halika, panalo si Mami. Halika na. Yes, o si ano ang magsusuot ng medal?
Yung anak ang magsusuot. Oh.
Oo, yung anak magsusuot. Ayan.
Oh.
Ayan.
Sige po. 1, 2, 3.
Ay, umalis na. Congratulations.
Ito pa man.
Jenny Win Daniel. Nan. Okay. Cyril Cedric Liagaw.
Ito man magsuot.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Miles, ang hirap naman i-pronounce ito. Miles na lang. Zezikiel Rodriguez. Wala. Okay, so yun yung ating mga consolation na prizes. Yung cash prize ninyo, wait for our notification para kunin nyo sa City Hall, okay? So congratulations sa ating mga consolation prizes. Ngayon, down to 3 na. 3 na. Sinong bet nyo?
Ishi.
Okay, so congratulations sa ating 3rd place. Andito yung kanyang medal actually. Tanggalin natin dito. There. Yan. Congratulations to Ishi Carbonilla.
Andito siya.
Andito siya. Ayan. Ayan.
Yung medal muna.
So, yung medal. Ay, alam ko na yung box dyan. Yun. May ballpen sila at saka ano dyan. Yung box. Hindi yan. Sa consolation yung mga yun. Yan. Oo. Yung first, second, third ballpen at ano lang. Wala silang ano. Hindi isang box eh. Ito ang token namin ha. Thank you po.
Ishi, 1,
Ay, Ang ganda ng medal mo eh.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Oo, yeah, spes pala namin ito. Halika iha. Ayan, nag-work din siya dito as a spes. Sumali siya sa program for student yung during summer, and then nag-work siya dito sa library. Kaya hindi naman sa ibig sabihin na we have judges ha. Also, hindi naman kami ang nag-judge, no?
And walang pangalan. Just entry numbers.
Just entry number lang naman yung nandun. And then we get judges naman outside. Okay, so congratulations. And of course, sa ating second place, natawag na kanina pero wala siya, si Miss Pamela Suyog. Okay, so congratulations. Siya yung ating People's Choice Award and the second place. Okay, so wala siya. And of course, isa na lang ang hindi natawag, yung ating first place. No? But I don't think na meron siya dito. Si Miss Sandra Shane Nabalta. Sandra Shane Nabalta, wala siya. So yung mga entries nila, si Miss Sandra Shane is entry number 6. Si Miss Suyong is entry number 11. And si Miss Ishi is entry number 4. Okay, so thank you very much sa pagsali ninyo sa ating contest. At sana you will like and follow pa rin ang ating Facebook page for updates. Ano po? So very important po na sa mga contest you really have to like and follow yung aming page, no? And of course, thank you very much sa ating mga first, second, and third. Yung cash prize ninyo, as I have mentioned a while back, you wait for our notifications para kung kailan ninyo ma-claim ang inyong cash prize. And of course, we would require you to submit. Please submit us. Send nyo na lang sa messenger yung mga IDs po ninyo. Okay? Or if you are here, yung mga nandito na, if you have valid IDs, pakibigay nyo na lang so that we can photocopy, no? We can scan para ma-print. Kasi kailangan talaga. Okay? So, yung IDs ninyo, it's very important. Hindi magpo-forward yung papers pag wala yung attachment na IDs po ninyo. So, sana po isubmit po ninyo. And, of course, we are all, mag-e-end na kami kasi lumapas na kami sa oras na sinabi ko sa ating mga readers kasi, of course, we understand maraming nagre-review dito. And, but then, we cannot also avoid to conduct activities po dito sa ating library. We do not have enough space to do everything, but then, it's a public library, that's why we also have to mag-engage din kami sa community through yung mga activities. That's why we are doing this, no? Hindi kami yung stagnant na public library or yung traditional na public library na andito lang kami sa loob just waiting for you to come, no? So talagang we really have to engage with the community. Okay? So thank you for that and thank you for being with us. Like and follow our page for updates sa aming mga upcoming activities. So see you again. Bye-bye!